that was silly, ridiculous, a waste of time. They didn't want. That's why they were so successful. That's why they got away.
Made a living in very dangerous.
This is really an integrated blue together.
Dianne Andrews in black and white.
Hello, this is Fuji Totes. I just found out Fuji could not come in with me, so I'm making a little video for you to see how the pillow works with the doggy in it. As you see, Fuji's in here, in the bottom of this. At the end, after I take him out, I'm going to take all the things that are in here with him that you need on a trip, or whether you're just going, for an afternoon, everything you need to take the dog. I have driven all the way to Las Vegas, Nevada, and taken Fuji and my other dog, my multiple, with me with their meds, their leashes, their water, cup, and whatever, in one pack, a couple of packs of food are in the bottom of this. By the way, I even have a COVID test. If you think your dog has COVID, it's in the bottom here that you can carry. And I'm going to show you, even with all that in the bottom, he can still lay here and feel nothing. You see him sitting down on it. He can still do that with all the things in there. And I'll show you what was in there. He had a plate dough. He had the COVID test, as I laughed about. He had a heavy leash. He has a water bottle. He has some food. And another leash. This pillow only weighs about 3 pounds. So whatever you need in your necessities are for your dog can go in here, along with the dog as you carry him wherever you want to go. To the park. And I'll tell you, sometimes I use this to put things as I go outside. So this is Fuji's Totes, and they are patented. Now, I'm going to show you in the presentation the large pillow. All of these are multifunctional pillows that can be used for cover-ups, for totes, for luggage, and I'm going to tell you the story how I started Fuji Totes. Fuji was, but anyway, I'll say that personally to you. I don't have to tell you all that now. Thank you.
Welcome to Dianne Andrews in black and white. I'm your host, Dianne Andrews. Thanks for joining us today, whether you're watching us in our 2 million television homes, or whether you're watching us on YouTube, Rumble, or all of our social media. We have them all. We have Truth. We have, of course, Facebook. We have LinkedIn. We put the show out there on all of them, and X. So thank you very much. I've been out of studio because I just patented a pillow. I'm one of 6 patented animal pillows in the country, and I think I'm the only black. It's a bed and a tote for the doggy that makes your life a whole lot easier. And we'll have the website up on stage that you can go and look at it and go into Square and Order if you'd like. But as you know, I've been doing Dianne Andrews in black and white for some people for 9 years. I met a lady at the Mahalia, at the Jewel Newman Community Center about 2 weeks ago, and she gave me a card. She told me she watches my show, and she told me to give her a shout out. So I did not forget. I've kept the card, Tanya Gordon, for 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks, and she owns Valley House Market. So I want to give, they're on government. I wanted to give her a shout out here. Tanya, Dianne Andrews gives you a good shout out. And thanks for watching Dianne Andrews in black and white. I'm going to do another show. We're going to talk about some military issues, but this person I'm interviewing also is running for RSCC. You might have seen, Claston Bernard. He's been on here multiple times. They're competing, but not really competing. In fact, the election is this weekend, so by the time this airs, one of them would have won, but Claston is the incumbent. Thanks for being here with us today, Bert.
Thanks for having me, Dianne.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it.
Bert, first let's talk about the military. You were in the Navy. You were an air traffic controller in the U.S. Navy, and then you were deployed to Iraq at the Louisiana National Guards, correct?
Correct. I was Navy, total of 6 years, and then
Army National Guard, huh?
No, I was Navy first as an air controller.
Right.
I got out of that and went into business. Started raising a family. Basically, 7 years civilian.
Yeah.
And then 9/11 came around.
Right.
And I wanted to be not just sitting on my thumbs doing nothing, doing something.
Right.
And so I decided to enlist in the Guard. Figured I would be part of Homeland Security or be available.
Didn't think
to
you
do
were going to Iraq, did
and,
you?
And within a couple of years of that, next thing I know, we're in 2004, we're being deployed to Iraq, full
Right.
active.
Wow. And then by 2000 and what Obama says, ISIS is a JV team. After he got in, about 2010, I guess.
Yeah, I did one tour, 04 and 05, and then
That was Bush, wasn't it?
yes, and then I just decided I've had enough. 'Cause
Right.
I knew they were going to be going back. I knew it was
Bush
going to
did the
extend.
preemptive war against Iraq, which is the first time we've ever done that, isn't it?
I-
We went there without people doing anything really to us. He never proved that those 19 guys that did 9/11, all of them most were from Saudi Arabia, 19 out of 21. So
Yeah, Desert Storm was about Kuwait
Yes.
and getting them and driving them out of Kuwait.
Right.
Now, in after 9/11, that was, of course they touted the weapons of mass destruction.
Which they never found. And Colin Powell said.
Well, we were there looking for them.
Right,
And I
never
can
found
tell
them.
you, I never found a single thing.
And I don't
of
think they
that.
really were.
Yeah.
Because you would have found them.
Yeah, we were combat engineers actively looking for that kind of stuff.
And then you found Saddam Hussein somewhere in a ditch hiding out. I mean, I remember seeing him. He looked disheveled and everything. They found him.
They found him in a hole
Yeah.
prior to us getting there, I
Yeah.
think in like 2003.
Uh-huh.
We got there and
He looked pretty bad. They said he had a city. Remember they had said he had a city under the
Yeah.
ground, but he didn't.
Yeah, he was living in a hole, basically.
Yeah, I remember.
in a
I
bunker.
called it a ditch. I
Yeah.
remember him coming out. He looked all disheveled and hair all over his face. He wasn't living nicely. That's for sure.
No.
He must have. I don't think he thought that Bush was really going to come in. Maybe because we had been friends, right? Hadn't we been friends with him?
No, he was always passing threats. That was the thing. He was
Mm-hmm.
passing threats to the previous George Bush constantly, and he was a dictator. As a matter of fact, one of the
What's the difference in a dictator and what we're doing now in this country? Some of that goes on now.
Instead of a single person doing it,
Yeah.
I think
It's a
the
whole
entire
government.
government's
Yes.
in. That is what I call the conspiracy that's actually going on.
Right.
It's no theory; it's truth. I mean,
Everything
that's
they
what's happening.
project on the previous president seems to be going on now in this administration.
I can't agree with you more on that.
I mean, this bloodbath thing, Donald Trump just says one thing about basically they're going to get rid of our cars and have EVs coming in built in Mexico with China. I mean, it's just hard to fathom how fast this country went down. It's scary.
It's as a veteran,
Yeah.
it's sometimes depressing.
Very. It's
It-
depression, and I'm not a veteran.
It can make you angry.
Yeah.
And sometimes I wonder, what did I serve for in the first place?
You got to, especially
Because-
when they left $75 billion of our equipment in Iraq. That's when
Right.
I told you. That's when I started this show. I was a Democrat when Obama ran, but I didn't vote for Obama. I'm a mathematician by undergrad. I have a BS in mathematics, in my undergrad and chemistry. And I said, something's wrong with this picture. This guy has no qualification to be president. Not that all of them do. Bush didn't either, to be president, really. And what did he run? The Texas Rangers before
Yeah.
that. And Obama had been a state senator. That's what he had done there in Chicago.
Right.
So, but I knew it was something phony with that. It just wasn't real. Kennedy had brought him in 2 or 3 years earlier to do the speech at the Democratic National Convention. And he's the best orator you could find, right?
Yeah.
So people fell in love with him there. And he was black and white. And, his mother's white. And I just think it fit the narrative that they wanted at that time.
Yeah, it was just cool. Okay, something.
But I think
'cause he was-
they could say we got a black guy as president, and people are afraid to say, what the hell is he doing here, right? He's screwing up this country. And people
well, they
didn't want to say
gaslighted
that.
you. Yeah, they gaslighted
That's
you.
right.
If you said anything against him,
You're prejudiced. White man, you can't talk about Obama. And what's wrong with you, black woman? Whatever. Yeah.
And I could tell you, I served. I've had black fellows serve with me in a foxhole.
Sure.
I've been in charge of guys, black fellows. I've had them as my senior. I've had bosses, and as well as employees. you know, and I didn't really see that. But God forbid you say something about Barack Obama, and that's what you got accused of.
Right.
And I was just, wait a minute, you're basically telling me I can't speak freely about what I'm actually seeing.
You weren't talking about the person, you were talking about his policies, I'm
Correct.
sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's different. You have to separate person
Absolutely.
from policy.
That's right. That's one of the things. As a matter of fact, where I learned to be that way was in the military.
Oh, really?
That's when I really recognized that, you know, whether somebody's black or not, it's up to whether they're a good leader or not, whether they take orders or not, how efficient they are at doing their job. That's where I
You're
basically
from
learned.
across the river, Plaquemine.
Yes, ma'am.
So do you think you had some prejudice in you before you went to the Army? It sounds like you may have. I mean, I'm
You
just
picking
asking.
up on, I don't know.
No.
Well,
Because you called the black men fellows. And I'm not, you know, I'm not a woke person at all. But instead of men.
okay.
Yeah, that's the only reason I asked. You didn't say boy, though.
Well,
and I'm not woke at all.
No. I certainly don't see that at all, but okay.
Because I'm probably, you know, I don't have black friends
Well, you
because
know,
I'm a conservative.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's I guess.
Did you have
could
black
say-
friends growing up? I'm just wondering.
No, well, I went to St. John. It was a
Yeah,
Catholic school.
Yeah.
But I could
No
tell
blacks
you,
went there?
Well, we did. We had a fellow by the name of I forget his last
One.
name, but
One.
hold on. I'm thinking of my football team.
Oh, okay.
And we actually called it our Oreo defense because they were both played defensive end. One guy, his name was Isaac. And,
Both black people played defensive end.
Yeah,
Each end you
and
had,
Richard-
okay, and sandwiched in the middle was the white boys.
Yeah, and Isaac, he gave me
And I said boys, you heard me, right?
Yeah, younger, he gave me the nickname Mitt. It's because I had my uncle's college shirt on when I was younger. It was from MIT.
Oh, wow.
He's an MIT guy.
Yeah.
And
Smart guy.
Yeah, an inventor and works for DuPont and all that.
Yeah.
Anyway, he called me Mitt. So I thought that was cool. I was good friends with him. Richard always brought the newspaper to school, and when he was finished reading it, that's when I would pick it up.
You know what I found? You know,
So-
my daddy's white, my mother's black. I may have told you. But what I found, when I was in healthcare, I had a director of nursing. She was an older white woman, and we were real close. And we would be interviewing people, and we would say, was it a ghetto blank or a poor white trash? Because we had so many bad people come in, and we could talk like that to each other.
Yeah.
Because it didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It didn't mean, because you got good and bad. That's what we were trying to say. In the black race, you have good and bad. In the white race, you have good and bad. You judge a person. I wish people could do this, like Martin Luther King said, by the content of their character.
That's right.
And we would be interviewing these people, and some of them were so crazy.
Yeah.
And that's why we would say those two things about them, because 75% of the people you interview, you reject. But I think when you're close to people and you are not prejudiced is when you can talk to an opposite color, just like I talk to a black person. That's the way I have been with my white friends.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I spent long
Right.
12-hour shifts in a foxhole.
And I don't know how we got off on this one, but let's go back to the
know,
military.
I know.
Yeah. What I wanted to talk to you about is being, you know, you gave your heart, your blood, sweat, and tears for this country. And when they left the 75 billion, Obama, not they, left the 75 billion, you know, we just left 85 billion in Afghanistan, but much bigger than that. Bagram Air Force Base is worth $300 billion. And that's the gateway to like China and everything. I understand China's in that base right now.
Yeah.
And I think America is so being led down the wrong track. I don't think, you know, black women and white suburban women have a problem with Donald Trump. I was 19 years old when I graduated with a mathematics degree and went to work for IBM in New York City as a computer programmer. And then I went to Houston on the space shuttle. And this is the way people talk. You know, this is not, when you're trying to get something done, I think business is just different. You know, politics, like I was talking to Cleve, you know, you can tell he's a businessman. He's not just a politician. You can tell he get things done. He moves quick.
He's a short fellow.
Yeah, and then Trump came out and he got things done instead of, you know, people that just want to have war. And that I saw something on Eisenhower that he talked about the industrial complex. You have to be very careful with the Pentagon. It's what he was saying. He was a general. right? Mm-hmm. I wonder, did we do better with presidents that were military?
Yeah, I know. I read up on Eisenhower and, of course, Nixon as well. And
Was
that
he?
kind
He
of thing.
wasn't in the military, was he? Nixon?
Yeah, he was
Oh.
Navy.
Oh, was he? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Kennedy was also.
Oh, I knew he was. I remember the movie PT 109.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was Navy as well.
That's true. Yeah.
But so we had.
Since then,
Gerald Ford was military.
That was back in the day. So the last 30 years, we haven't had anybody. Clinton sure wasn't military. And neither was Bush.
No, actually, he ran off to Canada, from what I understand.
Yeah, he ran somewhere, I remember,
and he didn't inhale.
Hey, that's right. And he never had sex with that woman either.
That's right.
Monica Lewinsky.
Right. No, so for me, what really got me into paying more attention was actually going into Iraq. First of all, no weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah.
We were actually there, didn't see it. The second thing was we helped those folks conduct their first election after 25 years of dictatorship.
Right.
There were no machines in warehouses over there. They did them on a paper ballot. You remember the blue thumb? They would
Which
ink
is
their
what
thumb.
we probably ought to have today.
And
Macron in France, 90 million people.
Yeah.
They know by 5, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock who won that race, paper ballots.
Right.
I'm a computer programmer. Anything can be hacked. Any software you put can be hacked. Just like AI. I saw something the other day. Artificial intelligence. It's only as good as somebody sitting there keying in the data for any question that you could think of in the world.
Right.
And they asked, what is a white man? And they show a black man that comes up because the person has put a black man out there in AI as a white man. So every man you look at is going to be black. I think AI is going to be the biggest destroyer of a lot of stuff in this country because it's going to mislead, especially young people.
I know, and sometimes the change in the history.
Yes.
Of course, then which even led me to believe, was the original version even correct? So I try to look at as much as I possibly can and have my own discernment.
Right,
and,
you have to.
And also ask people who are a little smarter than I am
Or who
what their
what's
take
going on.
is on things.
A friend of mine, he's an attorney here, and a young white friend of his was talking about Martin Luther King, and he said, he believed in violence. He had read this. Martin Luther King preached nonviolent. Everybody knows that. But now everybody's thought pattern and ideas are being formed on a lot of bad information. And it's on purpose.
Yeah.
Like this CRT thing, the oppressor versus the oppressed, right? Poor black people, we're oppressed, we can't do nothing in our life. And then the poor white kid, they're the ones pouncing on the black kids. One friend of mine, her little kid came home and said, Mama, we prejudiced. Because that's what they're teaching in school.
Right. I've been to Bessie meetings. And,
Yeah. Preston Castile, that's a friend of mine. He's on the Bessie board. He's an attorney, black guy.
Yeah.
I don't think they have too many black guys on the Bessie, do they?
Yeah.
Well, you probably saw
I know
Preston.
Mr. Castile
Yeah.
is on the board.
Yeah, Preston.
He's okay.
Yeah, Preston Castile. He's a friend of
Well,
mine. He's
he's
been on my
my-
show probably 6 times.
He's my district representative.
Oh, okay.
From where I live.
Yeah, you
out there
pay
on the
him
west.
before me. Tell Preston I say he's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's a Democrat. He's a great guy. He's a Democrat, but he's
Well, that's
he's
good.
more of a I see Preston more as a Kennedy kind of Democrat. Back in the day.
Right.
When you because I did a CRT show with Preston. He really didn't think they were teaching it in the schools. He really didn't. And some schools don't teach it, I guess.
I know. My kids went to public school in their later years, and I would ask them about that stuff.
Yeah, what'd they say?
Well, I didn't know the term CRT at the time.
Right, critical race theory.
My kids now are 30
Yeah.
and 26.
So do you think they were indoctrinated with white people are oppressing black people? And that was the time. Don't anybody get me wrong. This country has been very prejudiced. But
Yeah.
I think we have to move on to what we have today. 50 years ago, I wouldn't be sitting here with you, right? White, black person. But I think this country's come a long way. I've done a documentary on the Klan, on the Silver Dollar Group, and I talk about that in that documentary. We have come a long way. We've got some ways to go, but this is nothing like the 50s.
Yeah.
It's insane to try to act like it is. And that's just to make I think, young black kids feel like if you think you're oppressed, then you're going to act oppressed, right?
Yeah.
And somebody owe me something.
Right. And that's, I think the racial divide has been reignited. We
It has.
were headed towards a lot
Obama was the worst
to
thing
where
happened to this
racism
place.
was becoming a thing of the past.
I don't think
Even-
complete racism will ever be a thing of the past, but it was going to be very
Right. Well, things were getting more smoothed out.
Right.
But then it's almost like there's money to be made in it.
It is.
So therefore, they
It's a
got to
money grab.
perpetuate it and
Right.
reignite it and turn it
like
into something
climate
that
change
it
is
really
nothing but a money grab. Climate change,
All of it.
And that's already because Biden already got his money,
Well,
right?
these wars are that way
That's
too.
right. That's
I
why
don't
Trump,
think-
no war under Trump, he started no war.
Yeah.
And if he had done Afghanistan, he told the leaders of Afghanistan, the Taliban, don't you hurt the hair on one American.
Mm-hmm.
Now Joe Biden leaves Americans, there may be still some in Afghanistan. I don't think we got them all out.
Yeah.
You've got people over, I think some Americans in the Hamas-Gaza conflict, and you got some in Haiti.
Right.
That just the other day. This world is in flames.
It is.
I was just telling on a show the other.
But we
minute
would
ago.
never know about it because our news is they're just giving us the puppet show.
That's it. That's all.
They're not giving us the reality
No.
and let us decide. They're almost giving us the
It's
the
indoctrination.
Proper, yes.
It's communism.
Yeah.
Communism. You know, I think we're this far from communism in this country. If Donald Trump, like he said, there will be, to me, a bloodbath, and I'm not talking about killing people, but it's just on how our lives are about to be changed if Donald Trump does not win this race. Because Joe Biden, look, I don't understand, people can't just see how he's destroyed this country in 3 years. 10 million people have come across that border. 10 million. The state is only 4.6 million.
And where did it become law? You know, it's all executive order.
Right. Well,
That's you talking about dictatorship.
well, Trump did a
One
lot
of
of, Obama, Trump, and Biden both did a lot of executive
I know,
orders.
well, it's almost as if one has to do one executive
Or
order
to-
to counter the
Other
previous
one,
executive
yeah.
orders.
But remember,
and
he
stuff.
did it for the border. He had in 2018, there were 350,000 under Trump that
Mm-hmm.
came through the border. 2023, you had 2.6 million, the illegals. And I'm not going to call them newcomers. I'm not going to call them undocumented
They're
immigrants.
flat
They
out
are
illegal.
illegals.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
You know, like as people say, you know, black people fought for this country. I heard Biden say the other day, because he panders to everybody, he was talking about the immigrants. He said, they built this country. How did they build this country? They weren't here. When he was with some Puerto Ricans, I heard him say, I used to go to he was down in Puerto Rico. He made a comment about, he used to go to church with the Puerto Ricans every Sunday. I saw him in a black church speaking, and he made a comment of how he went to the Black Baptist church growing up every Sunday. He went to everybody's church. He is nothing but a chameleon. People may not know. He talks about Trump lost. He lost twice. This is his third time running. Joe Biden ran 2 other times, and he was about to lose this time until Claiborne, the black James Claiborne, over in Carolina, got him to win that state. That was his state. He's a senator, black guy. And so I just believe there's something devious behind this also, because anybody in their right mind can see that Joe Biden needs to be maybe sometimes looks like in a nursing home.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Definitely not running what used to be the greatest country in the world. Now this is quickly turning into not being the greatest country in the world.
And he's almost the perfect candidate for what they call the deep state.
Manchurian candidate.
He doesn't
You
know
ever see
what's...
the movie The Manchurian Candidate?
No, I have not.
He was a fake person put in to be president.
Well, that's what we have.
Right, that's what I say. He's a Manchurian candidate.
He's not all there.
No, he's not.
I would hate to be in the military with him as my commander-in-chief.
Well, he's going to tell you something about transgender.
Yeah, especially what's going on
Right.
in the military right now with some of the training. I stay in touch with veterans around the nation,
Yeah.
and who have sons who wanted to be like dad, whatever. They're
Right, right.
And they're having a heck of a time with all of the, like you say, woke training that's
Yes.
going on.
And then the lady man that's over the military, not Powell, but they've got that woman that was a man that's high in the military.
Oh,
Rachel something.
Yeah.
Rachel, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh.
Long grayish blonde hair.
Yeah.
Looking like a man, but
Right.
she's a woman now.
Yeah.
She's got a high job in the military.
Is it Surgeon General? I forget names.
She's
and-
not
and
Surgeon
position.
General, I don't think.
But
Is
there-
she?
I think the Surgeon General's
She's
also
Surgeon
that.
General?
And then you got the.
I don't think she's a doctor, though. Is she a doctor? Oh, okay.
And then-
He? I don't know.
And then you got that skinny white fella.
Which one?
I'm gonna say fella.
Yeah. Which one
that,
is he?
that took the baggage. I forget what his
Oh my
name
God,
was,
yeah,
too.
yeah, he wore. But he used to go into. He was like an assistant director at the Department of Energy or something.
Yeah.
He stole clothes. He stole luggage out of Washington Airport.
At the airport.
He stole one black lady's luggage who was from Africa. She was a top-rated designer, and that's how they caught him. She saw him with her dress on that she designed at the White House on Facebook or something, or in a magazine. He'd come in with a mustache, bald head, long earrings, heels, and a man.
Yeah.
And Biden let him do it.
I know it. And that's the double standard, right?
It is. All that started under Obama.
And I think that's woken up, if you want to be talking about waking people up,
Yeah.
that kind of double standard.
Right.
This is what we heard about when the double standard, you're talking about between black and
Right,
white.
right.
The double standard that used to be in the 60s.
Right.
And all that. And now I think everybody's being exposed to a double standard.
You know, I'd hate to be you. I'd hate to be a white man in this country. It seems like you're the people they really want to get. They want to get rid of you. I mean, if you look at every city, they're run by mostly all women and mostly black.
Mm-hmm.
L.A., San Francisco.
I think
Baton
they
Rouge,
took everything
no.
that Martin Luther King said and tossed it out the window.
They did.
It ain't about character anymore. So I guess the ebb and flow, do you have to go to one extreme to find the middle
Right.
and go far to the other extreme of whatever to find the middle? Maybe so, but I think we're getting our own sensitivity training in this area to learn how to recognize what is truth and what is not.
Yeah, but most people don't. I can tell you most black women are not that liberal. A lot of them. They don't believe in certain ways. I don't think they believe in late-term abortions.
No, I don't.
But nobody, and
they're made out to be. They made out to be.
Yeah.
But they're really not.
No, they don't believe in that. I don't think. When a baby can live.
But they call that the nuclear family.
Yeah,
That's been shattered.
Well, the Black Lives Matter said their job was to do that, but that's been shattered a long time, going down the drain, even before this, because you know who did that? The Democrats. Back in, what president did that? They gave you money to get the check, but you couldn't have a man in the house.
Yeah.
That was to separate people, right? You're going to have babies because I'm giving you money for the baby, but you cannot have a man live there. Well, Reagan wanted to do 5 years and you're off.
Right.
And Bill Clinton came in and took that down. So there has been a plan. People don't realize. I've written on the silver. I have a documentary on the Silver Dollar River, the Klan. I think I mentioned. I just won a Whistleblowers Award in D.C. on that. Come on back to Dianne Andrews in Black and White next week. There you go, Fuji. There you go, Fuji. Come on, Fuji. Go get it. Go get it. Good boy. Go get it. There you go. There you go. Get it, Gooch. Get it. Fuji. Fuji, get it. You so smart you came around the other way and landed on your Fuji's toe.